everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hardfire Television on Brooklyn Free Speech Cable, Libertarian Issues in Focus. My name is Cameron Weber. I'm the producer and host of the show. With me, I have Aaron Commey. Hi, Aaron. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's nice to meet you, and it's an honor to have you on our show. Aaron is the Libertarian candidate for the mayor of New York City. Just like we had Norman Mailer run and we had William F. Buckley run, now we have Aaron Commey run as an alternative to our bipolar, divisive, two-party state. Aaron is running on the Libertarian ticket, which is the third largest party in the United States. It's not so big in New York, where the Democrats always win in the city and the Republicans always win upstate, I guess. There's corruption all the way through. So welcome, Aaron. Tell us, why on earth would you want to become a politician? And tell us about yourself and why are you running for mayor? And why are you running as a libertarian? And what is a libertarian? And I'll remind you as we go along.
All right, yeah, definitely. Well, to explain why I'm running, I want to become a politician.
Yeah.
That's more. That'll be, my story. Actually, my experiences have inspired me and motivated me to realize
your
the
life
need.
Experiences.
Yeah. To get off the sideline and get involved.
Yeah. That's why I do this show. That's my contribution to the libertarian cause. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, the short story is I spent. It's 2017 now. In 2015, I got out of federal prison after spending approximately 15 years without ever being convicted in federal prison. So that's the short.
How did that happen?
Well,
the district attorney's offices are just
I was actually
fucked up.
Well, I got to see the government, up close and personal, how it truly operates. And even when they start out with a legitimate aim, it's so
something well intentioned.
Yeah, it's so easy and so frequent that people's personal agendas, biases, and the lack of oversight and accountability leads things to get just way out of control. And so that's what basically happened to me. My original arrest was justified. I was suffering from mental illness at the time. I was arrested.
Which there's varying degrees of.
Right. Yeah.
Thomas says, of course, there is no.
Okay. Right.
I mean, it's yeah. Please keep going.
So I was arrested. I went to trial. Found not guilty by reason of insanity.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah, in Brooklyn Federal Court.
I've served on federal court for a week there, but we'll cover that later. Yeah.
And after I was acquitted, the procedure was
you were
supposed
acquitted.
to be I was acquitted of all charges. The procedure was supposed to be that I was sent to a hospital for treatment, but instead, people decided that no, we want you to go to federal prison. So they sent me to a federal prison. Fortunately, there were people at the prison who said, okay, well, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. We're going to recommend you to go. Unfortunately, somebody else then stepped in and says, well, we disagree. We're going to keep you.
How can they send you to prison if you're not indicted by the grand jury? How does that work? Who makes that decision?
Well, the federal court. I had been indicted, but I had been acquitted. So after my acquittal, the federal court was supposed to send me. They were supposed to follow a procedure.
Yeah.
Those procedures weren't followed. And once that happened,
did you have a bad attorney or?
Oh no, I had some. I had some really good, some really competent attorneys, but the system, and this is why I realized the system is situated in a way where too often a lot of these defense attorneys just have these enormous caseloads,
Right.
and they don't have the strength to fight diligently against this mammoth, system.
Because then they don't get promoted. It's
Yeah.
not funny.
It's just so many
I
different.
worked for the U.S. government for 12 years, and so I know how it works.
Right.
You basically shun any kind of responsibility, and that's how you get higher up in the system, by just telling people what they want to hear and what they want to.
Yeah, I definitely witnessed bad behavior being rewarded by staff, and I've seen individuals who were who were concerned with justice. I seen them just get pushed to the wayside, ridiculed, persecuted, and then ultimately till they just say, hey, they don't want to do this anymore, and just wind up quitting.
Right. So,
You know?
it's only the worst that stay
Yeah.
within the system.
Yeah, and that's
I found that in my personal experience in the U.S. government as well.
yeah.
So because of this
Yeah.
experience,
Yes, the things I've seen individuals fighting the criminal justice system, fighting to have the government follow its own rules, and just because I did a lot of legal work while I was inside, helped guys
Yeah.
with their cases,
Oh,
and so this is when I got to see just how broken the system really was, and so once I finally managed to gain my freedom.
yeah.
I said, you know what, it's not over. I've got to keep doing. I've got to do something. Now that I'm out on the street, I need, knowing what I know, it would be irresponsible of me not to keep fighting, not to try to make a difference while I'm out here.
So your main concern is criminal justice?
Well, criminal justice is definitely one of my focuses, but I've realized I've been able to see the intersectionality of so many different areas, from education
Yeah.
to
It's a whole system from
the economic situations, which
minimum wage,
Yes.
zoning laws, drug
Yep.
laws.
these are all carefully they bleed into each other, and so by addressing one, you're also having some influence on the others, and to truly come up with a solution, you need to deal with all of these issues.
What we have is a utilitarian society, which is what the original utilitarians wanted. Jeremy Bentham and James Mill and John Stuart Mill is basically you have an elite who's in charge of everything, and everyone else are peasants who get fed a little bit of chicken feed as long as we vote along the party line. I served a week in jury duty in Brooklyn, where I saw these entrapments for $10 dime bags. For dime bags, half of the crimes were victimless crime, where people's lives were ruined for that. And it was a big system where you have the district attorneys, and then the police, and it's a big industry,
Yeah.
the criminal justice industry. And by the end of my week there, people weren't automatically indicting people just for victimless crimes. So I made a slight difference in that way.
That's right.
So what is a libertarian, and how did you discover libertarianism? And that's a
Yeah.
difficult question to answer, but
No, it's actually, I think it's a really interesting story, and a lot of people are familiar with this individual, Ron Paul.
yeah, 2006.
Actually, 2012, the 2012 election is when I really just caught on to Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Because I was still inside, and I was I'm watching the election, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so now I heard Republicans talk about small government, but I don't hear I don't hear it being reflected in the debates,
Of
with
course.
the candidates.
Yeah. No one's addressing the hot button issues,
Yeah.
which is that we're 17, 18, 19 trillion dollars in debt, and
Right.
it's not going away, and it's getting worse and worse. In fact, we're doing a show next with Alex Merced, who's running for comptroller of New York City. You would be working together.
Absolutely.
That would be good.
That would be great to work with
yeah,
Alex. Alex is,
yeah. With him as controller and you as mayor. So, okay, so,
Yeah.
so through Ron Paul.
Yeah, through Ron Paul, because I'm watching
You saw him on television? Or,
Yeah,
oh.
I saw him on the debate stage, and now I had grown up, aligning with the Democrats, just thinking that the Democrats, as a black man in America, I'm like, okay, well, Democrats, they're for minorities. That's the opinion I had. But then as I'm doing my legal research and studying, I'm realizing that a lot of these laws that exist that are destroying people's lives weren't just done by Republicans. Democrats were, all on board as well.
Yeah, it's
And
the same.
so-
It's
yeah.
the same side. It's one coin, and it's just two sides of the
Exactly.
same coin, where each party aggrandizes their power and abuse the power, and then accuse each other of abusing the power. But they abuse the power in their own way to serve their own constituents, and so you discovered Ron Paul
Ron
on
Paul,
television.
and he says, the things that when they had mentioned a statement about, well, Barack Obama's doing this, so what are you doing? And he's like, well, okay, you're asking the question about Barack Obama. Yeah, Barack Obama is, spending too much money, conducting government overreach, but like these 13 guys on the stage are doing the same thing.
Sure. George Bush Jr.
I think Rudolph Giuliani was up there.
Doubled the
Yeah.
federal deficit
Yeah.
during his period.
Okay, yes.
As well
Right.
as President Obama doubled the deficit during his period.
Right.
And I think that's every president has doubled the deficit. You elect them, and then they double. Yeah. And so from Ron Paul, what
but
happened?
seeing him being able to just stand up to the other candidates on the stage and call them out, speaking truth to power, I was like, wow, I got to find out more about this guy. And so that's when I first heard the term libertarian, even though he was running as a Republican. People saying, yeah, his philosophy is libertarian. I said, I've got to find out what the libertarian is.
Yeah.
So once I got out, I started doing some research, found out about the local Libertarian Party.
Did you have internet when you were in prison?
No, we didn't have access to the internet.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, it's very. They limit what you can, the information you can get. So I had to do a lot of. I had a lot of questions. So once I got out, I was able to. It was like information overload, trying to find out more about people like Ron Paul, the Libertarian Party.
And then you found the Brooklyn Libertarian Party?
I actually found out the Manhattan first.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Yeah, when I first moved to New York 10 years ago, it used to be when I would move to a new city. I was in the Foreign Service, and then I was with the U.S. government. I would move from place to place. I would start a rock band. But then I moved to New York 10 years ago to study a PhD in economics, and one of the first things, instead of starting a rock band, I became a New York resident and met some people like Gary Popkin and Vladimir Visner and Steve Finger, and we formed, I guess, the second generation of the Brooklyn Libertarian Party. This was probably 10 years ago, and then I started up the website, the Brooklyn Libertarian, I guess it's brooklynlp.org website. Then Gary Popkin, who founded this show, then took over the website and found a free way to do it, and now Alex Merced has then taken us to the next generation. Great. So you found the local Brooklyn party, the Manhattan party,
Right?
And you met Mark Axon first off.
I met
At the
Mark,
door when you walked in.
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was just, it was a great environment. Meeting, real libertarians and
Yeah.
they're genuine people who didn't just talk. You know, they lived, they walked the walk. They didn't just talk the talk.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually had the benefit of meeting some upstate LPNY members who had just on my first meeting. So that was really
in
good too.
Manhattan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were visiting. Yeah, they were in town visiting, and so
and
that
how long
was
ago was that?
that was 2015. In 2015.
And now you're the Brooklyn or the Libertarian nominee for New York City mayor.
Yes.
So you must have impressed people with your enthusiasm or your beliefs or your ideals or your ability to communicate.
Well, I really feel blessed that I was embraced. It was like I said, they really walked the walk.
Yeah, they asked me to give a talk after the financial crisis, 2009, and
Right.
so that was very nice people.
Yes.
Is Mark Axon still involved? Or?
Yes. Yeah. He is. Yeah.
How about Jim Levinsky? Is he still?
No, I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. So then you. How did you get the Libertarian Endorsement? What was that? Was that a difficult process, or who are your competitors? Or
Well, we had a gentleman who wasn't really affiliated with the party, but he came to the party. He said, "Hey, I would like to be the nominee," and so I heard him speak once at the Manhattan LP, but then I got to see him again at the Brooklyn LP meeting, and that's when I realized that a lot of his ideas weren't really libertarian. And I said, you know what, especially just last election, we should have learned a lesson about having somebody who didn't really represent the LP or wasn't really
You're talking
focused
about
on the
William
LP.
Weld.
Right.
William Weld was a
Right.
disappointment for you.
Right. William Weld, and as much as Gary Johnson, as good as he was to build awareness about the party, he could have done a better job at shining the spotlight on other candidates, because and that was one of the disappointing things
for the party in general.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing with Gary.
because Alex Merced, was running for Senate. I had the opportunity to be a part of his campaign.
Oh, okay.
And-
Okay, so you have experience with
Yeah.
campaigns then.
Right. But yeah, we just didn't get as much support as we should have. And
From the national office?
Well,
Or
not from the national, from the top of the ticket.
Yeah.
The top of the ticket. Every time he came into New York, that was an opportunity for him to bring Alex along.
And he never did it.
Right. Every time he was on TV, frequently.
He was.
And-
For a while there, it was
Yeah.
Clinton, Trump, and Gary Johnson.
Right.
You watch CNN
Right.
I would see it at the airport, and there would be the three, and then
Yeah.
eventually he lost.
Right.
He lost.
I mean, yeah,
focus
but he had
or-
a golden opportunity to shed the light on, Alex Merced, Lily Tang Williams, other candidates, libertarian candidates across the country. That was a missed opportunity, and so that's one of the things I know we need in this election, considering that the easiest races to win are the smaller races. It's a long shot for me to be able to beat De Blasio. He's got millions of dollars. He's politically connected, but we have a much.
He has a huge. I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is true, but it's what I call a stylized fact, is that he actually has doubled the size of the city bureaucracy.
Right.
In other words, he's doubled the size
Wow.
of the city bureaucracy, and that's why you see so much homelessness now, is because they're cracking down on the rent control. Yeah, Yeah, it would be a hard person to.
Oh yes, he'd
Good
definitely be a hard
luck.
person to beat. But
When's the election?
the election's November 7th. But that's why I've what I define as victory isn't necessarily me being the mayor on November 8th. I think there's several ways to win, and
Are you going to stay in this for the long term?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And maybe run again in
Oh,
4
yeah,
years?
oh, definitely. I intend to be, and maybe not even as mayor, but I intend to be involved in any way I can that can advance.
Yeah. A
the
lot
cause
of people,
liberty.
a lot of people put their heart and soul into running for office,
Right.
and then lose, and then get dejected.
Discouraged. Yeah, I have to be realistic. I have to be realistic about my chances. This is my first campaign. I'm a relative unknown. I've got baggage.
Yeah.
So I've got to be realistic that it's going to be it's a very hard.
No one is innocent, is what
Right,
they say.
right.
But you're upfront about what your baggage is, and
Yeah.
that's part of your story and your enlightenment process.
Yeah.
So what would you do in your first 100 days as mayor? To use a worn out
Right.
idea, your first 100 days, or better said, what are the major problems that you see with the New York City government?
Well, there's a lot of things I know that need to be changed, but not some that aren't necessarily within the mayor's purview.
Yeah, you have to work with the city council.
Right. I have to work with the city council. Still have to worry about Albany too, because
Yeah,
even though I know that the war on drugs is a complete failure, and that I don't have the power as mayor to automatically say, okay, we're repealing all the drug laws.
Well, you know why that is because of the feds give the state money, and then the state gives the city money,
Right.
and then so everything's then controlled back to just follow the money.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there are things that I can do as mayor. I can put pressure on Albany, lobby Albany.
So victimless crime in the drug
Oh, yeah,
war is a major problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I can do as a mayor, I can instruct the police on where to focus their attention.
You can.
I
yeah.
can make sure that that we'll stop and frisk. That's out the window. That's not happening in my administration.
You have to carry an ID.
Yeah, that's just so. It boggles my mind how people can even think that that's constitutional,
Right.
and it's not constitutional. It's
It's
not
a
helpful.
violation of
Yeah.
civil liberties
Yeah.
to stop
And
people
it doesn't
without
work.
any reason.
It's a waste of resources. You're wasting human resources. You're wasting police time and resources.
For
and
victimless crime and the like I said, the whole district attorney situation. 5 minutes. Well, one of my the drug war. One of my personal pet peeves in the mayor's office is what's called his Office for Television and Entertainment, where we pay 10% sales tax on everything but food in New York, right?
Right.
My mom was nuts. What are you, 10% on it? Where does it go? Well, part of it goes to the mayor's Office for Entertainment and Television, where they then give subsidies and grants to millionaire and billionaire Hollywood producers, actors, and labor union members to come to New York City and make film, right? So our 10%, I live in a low to moderate neighborhood, and a low to moderate income level. Our 10% goes to the mayors to buy crony elitism from Hollywood to come here and use labor union labor, which on average costs twice as much as the average American. The labor union members, the city government labor union members make twice as much as the average American. So that's one of my big pet peeves is the crony entertainment stuff.
Absolutely. It's.
Do you have any pet peeve programs that you would like to cronyism stuff that you would
Well,
like
I want to try to just, and that's one of the things I want to do early on is just go through a complete audit and just start cutting nonsense, because, and there's some things that are nice, but they're not nice if you're using other people's money. because there's things that people want. It's the arts and being cultured. That's nice. But if you're taking money from hardworking New Yorkers who are trying to make ends meet to pay for it, that's a problem.
It's a big problem.
And so,
did you ever take the subway?
oh, absolutely.
Half the subways are,
Right.
you get this from the city, get this from the city, get this from the city, find out this
Right.
from the city, and then the minimum wage is going up. I
Right.
mean, I teach economics, and we know that the minimum wage creates unemployment for those worse off, for
Yes.
those out of prison, or for those who are immigrants and don't speak English very well.
And that's something that's really scary because I worry about cutting off mobility. Now, stopping
Yeah.
people's ability to get out of poverty.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's one of my focuses,
And the house, I used to teach at 7:30 in the morning, which means I'd have to take the subway at 4 in the morning, and I just saw more and more homeless as the city bureaucracy grows.
Right.
Okay. How do you pronounce our mayor's name again?
De Blasio.
I don't like to say that word. He has greatly increased the number of bureaucrats. Is this a good idea? How do you gain votes without political patronage? How do you? What's your campaign about?
Well, my
How you-
campaign, social media is,
right.
I think, a very useful tool. But I also want to get out there. I want to get out there and let people see me. So
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
be going to neighborhoods.
Yeah, you came on our show.
Yeah.
Which will be appearing in 3 weeks.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
we'll run it a couple times before the election.
Definitely. Thank
And
you.
it'll be on YouTube as soon as possible.
Right. Thank you.
And where can people find out about your campaign?
Okay, yeah, I have my website is at votecomey.com, VOTECOMMEY,
Good.
.com, and I also have a Facebook page,
All right.
Vote Comey, Aaron Commey for mayor,
Aaron
and
Commey for
yeah, so
mayor.
I encourage people to visit my site. I can use the support. Because I really
Are
want to
you
get the word out there.
accepting
Oh yeah,
campaign
I'm
donations?
accepting campaign
And
donations.
Do you have to go through the petitioning process?
Yes, the petitioning is coming up July 11th. It begins. So we're going to be out there. We're going to
Aaron Commey for mayor.
Yes.
And you need help petitioning, and
petitioning.
then you also need campaign contributions.
Contributions. Yeah, volunteers.
And do you have a platform statement?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Criminal justice, education reform. Because I want to reform the educational system to teach actual skills that will enable kids to graduate from high
Yeah.
school, being able to take care of themselves.
Yeah,
13 years.
I teach college,
yeah.
and all of my students learn that Franklin Delano Roosevelt got us out of the Great Depression. When in fact, he's the one that created the Great Depression, and the war did nothing but created a draft. It drafted at 900,000 people. Of course there'll be full employment if you draft everyone. And so, right, I'm into, I guess, undoing bad education.
Right.
And so you would reform
Yes, because there needs to be financial education so that kids
financial
can
education.
kids can go get out of school and
Gary's telling us we should wrap it up, so
Okay.
let's wrap. So please, everyone, do check out Aaron Commey for mayor, and thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully, and if you don't win this time, stick with it.
oh, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for watching Hardfire, everyone, and please tune in next time for Brooklyn Free Speech Cable, Hardfire TV, Libertarian Issues in Focus. My name's Cameron Weber. I've been your host, and thank you for watching.
Live free or